Sorry I'm late, but I was out buying a new car. A Ferrari, since you asked. Yes, thanks to the miracle of science and an educated brain, I now have one wicked set of wheels. Okay, whoever can explain the Krebs cycle gets a lump of gold. Isn't learning fun?
Ladies, gentlemen, Randy Travis, welcome to Sabrina's Witch Trials. I, of course, am Alex Araujo, and absolutely, you know it, this is the show where each week me and a friend, or friends, travel back into the mid-1990s to rewatch, review, and reminisce all about everybody's favorite Friday Night Spellfest, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You already know who I am, and I'm sure you're all wondering, one, who's Al's guest this week? And more importantly, why is Al so echoey, maybe? Well, second one first. I'm currently on a family-type vacation, which is what I call it. Me and my family are in a nondescript European country, high in the mountains of some European country. And since I'm such the dedicated podcaster that I am, I was not going to leave my tens of listeners without a podcast this week. So I gathered some friends, some notables, maybe some guests from the past, and we're going to talk all about the fourth episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is probably the most appropriately titled episode I think I've ever seen, because Terrible Things is just an accurate assessment of the episode. But first, before we get into the episode, let me introduce who I have with me here today. If you guys are fans of the first two episodes of Sabrina's Witch Trials, you're going to be marginally happy, I guess, because I've brought back that media maven from chrisconkers.com. It's only Cris Araujo. Cris, how you doing?
Okay.
That's how we're all doing. We should say we're recording this like past midnight, and it's been a bit of a long day, but if you think we're not going to half-ass it like we always do, you're wrong. Half-assed. Also, here this week, first time ever, we have a three-way dance on... I threw dance in there, so it's not sexual.
Thank you.
Three-way guest talkathon, if you will. Third guest is what I'm trying to say here. You never met him before, but you're going to meet him right now. My brother, Fil Araujo, is here. Phil, how you doing?
I'm good, Al. How are you?
I'm doing pretty bad. You can tell how quickly I'm speaking.
That's just pretty much you.
I am a very quick talker.
Always have been.
Never shuts up.
Never does.
And just put it on the internet, and tens of people listen to it.
There you go.
Good to have you here. I know you've been listening to earlier episodes of Sabrina's Witch Trials.
I'm probably not a super fan, but I'm very close to a super fan. I have heard all three episodes and your previous endeavors out there. Yeah. So, yes.
It should also be said, a couple of weeks ago, I asked listeners to submit possible names for themselves. You offered a suggestion, but I couldn't remember what it was. What did you think we should call my listeners?
I remember I didn't like it.
I don't remember. I think I might have been a few beers in when I said it.
As I am right now.
I think I want to say Sabriniacs, but I don't think that was exactly right. But it was something
better than I think what you said.
It might have been better when I said, but I think it was Sabriniacs. But
it's not bad.
All right.
You know,
listeners, let us know on Twitter. Let me know on Twitter at Sabrina Podcast if you like the name Sabriniacs, or if you have a better suggestion. If you think you're smarter than my brother, let me know that, punk.
It'll be pretty easy.
Punk. All right. Cris has already... We've spoken to Cris past episodes. We've gotten her history with Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Phil, I want to know what your earliest memories of the show are, because you were really in that proper age group for the series when it started. You were early teenager in 96.
So it started in 96, correct?
September 96, yeah.
So I was 14 at the time. So yeah, I was pretty much their target audience, their target demographic. I remember it pretty well. Actually watching along and listening to the podcast. I have remembered some of the episodes I thought, I had forgotten.
Right.
Actually, this one that we're going to talk about today, I do remember watching it originally when it first aired. And I'm yet not amazed on the quality of it, but we could talk about that here in a minute.
Yeah.
But Sabrina was one of those things that you watched in TGIF, and it was one of the things that on Friday nights that you look forward to.
I mean, just looking back at the ratings of the series when it started, this is actually the first episode that aired at 9 p.m. because the first 3 were all at 8:30.
Right.
This one they moved it to 9, and they moved, I think, Boy Meets World to 8:30. Like, this was
Suck it, Corey.
This was directly up against the X-Files, and like, while it wasn't beating the X-Files, it was drawing like 15 million viewers to the X-Files like 18. So still an incredibly popular show, especially on a Friday night.
I mean, as you guys could attest, we didn't really have cable back in those days.
Nope.
So, I mean, Friday nights that's what you look forward to at our age group, because there was nothing else on. And, those were shows that were targeted towards us and targeted towards our demographic. And, it was addressing problems that we were having or issues that we were having. So,
and I feel like broadcast television doesn't really have that anymore. Like, you can argue there are Disney Channel shows and like Nickelodeon shows that really are catered towards that age bracket, but aside from like teen dramas, there's not really like a teen family sitcom style show on broadcast television anymore.
No, absolutely not.
And it's something that's missing, because I think it's something that would still be well accepted today. Turning to the episode, season 1, episode 4, Terrible Things, first aired October 18th, 1996. 15.8 million viewers, 9.6 rating, and a 17 share. That's about 1 million more viewers than the week before. Did really well on broadcast-wise, but in terms of quality, I think a bit of a dud. But we're going to talk all about that in a second. But of course, as the listeners know, I like to ask my guests to describe the episode in a set number of words. So here's what I'm going to do. Phil, I want you to go first, because you're first-time guest on the show. In 8 words, no more, no less, describe this episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Wow. That's really putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, he does this to me every time.
Gosh.
What's amazing is...
And my math is always bad.
You know what? I should have known this, because I have heard the episodes before, and I knew that he would probably ask me this, but yet I have no answer. Let's go.
The good thing is he can cut out empty air. So
that's great.
Just cut out the part.
So this whole conversation we're having right now.
Maybe.
Oh, we'll leave this in. But like the dead air when you're trying to figure them out. Yeah.
I'm good that way. All right, Phil. 8 words. I need them right now. What do you got?
Sabrina tries to make people's lives better, but fails.
Isn't that 9?
That's 9.
That is 9.
Just say fails.
Comma fails.
Comma fails.
There it is. What a professional.
It's all right. You should have seen me last time.
All right.
We'll go next. My next appearance, I will have it down to 8 words.
No, but it changes every time. That's
It
the
does.
problem.
Well, it
He's
was
a tricky
7 one
bitch.
time, wasn't it?
It was 7 one time. I think
And then it was
I did
8.
9. No, I did 9 once.
He did 7 the first time, I think, and then the second time I think was 8, and I did 7, and then I did 9,
Yeah.
and then
I did 11. Right now, Chris.
Oh, okay, 11. Ooh, okay.
11.
11 is hard.
All right.
Lucky you.
You think it's easy, but then she's got to fill in some places without, it's got to be a coherent sentence.
I know. Chris is real smart, though. She, for those of you out there in Cyberland who don't know, Chris is a very smart person, so I think she'd get it.
Not like that dullard Al.
Yeah, well, Al's pretty smart himself.
Honestly,
too.
they just came on my show to put each other over and just like, and count words, because that's basically what I have them doing.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, 11 words. Phil's going to count.
Let me just double check.
Phil will count, and if you're wrong, he's sitting next to you. He'll smack you in the back of the head.
Oh, come on.
That's my rule for multiple guests at once. One gets smacked by the other.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, Chris, 11 words, and Phil will smack you in the back of the head if you're wrong. So,
Sabrina helps her friends. Things don't go well. Terrible things may happen.
that's 12.
Crap.
Just say terrible things happen. Yeah. Honestly. You spend all this time counting.
I spend all this time, but apparently I can't count with my hands.
Yeah, I'm just the same way. I'm sitting here. I'm supposed to get 8, but I get 9. So
Yeah.
it's all good.
You can't ask this much of us. Counting.
You can't ask us to count
Words.
to the first or second double-digit number. Anyway,
Sentence structure.
both of those are accurate descriptions of this mediocre episode. I don't know about you guys, but just as a whole, I thought it was... I'm doing this a little bit out of whack, but I want to state this right from the get-go. I thought it was an episode with a lot happening, none of it really interesting, and really, at the end of the day, it even felt like there wasn't that much happening, despite how much was actually happening. You know? There's all these things happening at the same time, and, you know, stuff with all of Sabrina's friends and her family, but you don't really feel like any of it is particularly interesting or meaningful in any way.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. A lot of the action going on seemed very. The word I would use was dull.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very dull episode.
And it didn't feel like there was a lot of not really risk, but nothing was. There was no real value of anything going on. You know what I mean? There was nothing at risk. There was no if Sabrina doesn't do this and this happens. You know, at the end you get some of that a little bit, but you know we'll talk more about that in a second. Let's get right into it. Go scene by scene, bit by bit, as I am to do here. We open right in smack dab in the middle of Westbridge, where as Sabrina's walking down the hall, she notices Libby, the bitch, is wearing
That bitch Libby.
as her full name. She's wearing the same turtleneck under a mini dress as she is. What a bitch!
A very well dressed bitch, mind you.
That's true. I thought a very nice outfit. So nice that they both had to go out and buy it.
Absolutely.
Sabrina runs into the girls' room under some like fake James Bond music. It was great. It's like I'm a really big fan of like when there's stock music that's clearly a ripoff of like some famous song or some other song. This is like proper like this is nondescript spy music track number 4. But she runs into the room. The bathroom, she uses some magic, and of course she changes, this time into a like powder blue velvet top with like brown checkery pants.
She loved that outfit too.
She was the only one. I thought.
No, like I feel like she wore that on a lot of episodes.
I think she might have worn the pants a lot, but like this was. She even comments that this is much better. That is not true.
It was a very 90s combination though.
Oh,
like that.
It looked like something ripped out of Adelia's catalog.
Indeed, it did. She then walks into the hallway. Libby walks by. She's all happy, struts about. Sabrina does, only to have Jenny come up to her wearing the exact same Delia's outfit. Jenny gets in the line. Love the look. Wah wah. Can't get a unique outfit no matter what you do. But she even gives her a bit of a butt bump. Yeah, it's like love the look, butt bump. By the way, Love the Look Butt Bump will be the episode title for this.
Like I said this earlier, but...
It actually won't be. It'll be something clever I say in a little while.
Like I said, I think when she said much better, what she meant was much better. Now I'm not going to look like Libby. Mm-hmm. Like now I'm not... It's not that faux pas going on where I've got the same outfit as someone else. Mm-hmm. Not actually a better outfit because... Come on.
I agree. It was not nearly as good. It also had like this. Chris, I'm glad we have you here because you're the fashionable one of the bunch. Even though we're both wearing t-shirts from a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. But mine says Taco Cat.
In fact, we're all wearing gray shirts. Like we look very communist today.
It's very uniform around here.
Her top had like a collar where you see pretty often now in like sweatier clothing, where it's like a big open collar, but like it's like woven with like a zigzag, like kind of looks like a shoestring.
Oh yeah.
What is it called?
That is called. It's just like a lace up.
Okay. Well, it was like a lace up, like blue powdered velvet abomination. Phil, anything to add, or can we go to the next scene here?
I agree with you. It was an abomination to fashion. Let's move on.
That's right. And me and Phil, two of the most fashion forward people you'll ever meet.
And we're both wearing gray. I mean, gray's in.
It's universal.
It's the new black.
As the table moves.
If I hadn't just moved the table, that totally would have been, okay. Right. Not even that great.
Next scene. In Sabrina's room, Salem runs under Sabrina's bed to hide from Zelda. And he tells Sabrina quite clearly not to say anything. Zelda enters wearing a lovely outfit, but we'll talk about that later. And Sabrina's expert lying gives Salem up just immediately. She's useless when it comes to lying. Salem is late for his community service program that he's to perform for trying to take over the world. But since he's a jackass, he doesn't want to go. To be fair, neither do I. Sabrina tells him that it's nice to help others, but Salem notes that ever since she got her magic powers, she's really only used them for changing clothes, which we literally just saw, and making Brussels sprouts disappear. This is a 16-year-old girl. Like, I feel like by that point, she's kind of moved past the hiding vegetables from Guardians stage of life and more towards the, like, you know, zapping in some cool teen drugs to shoot up.
Yeah, the irony of this is that I actually wrote while I was watching the episode, magic powers, what would I do if I had magic powers? And I was thinking to myself, I probably wouldn't, you know, change my clothes, nor would I probably make Brussels sprouts disappear.
Right.
I'd probably do something really cool.
Right?
I don't know exactly what, but I would do something really cool.
You know, make like a giant, like, elephant-sized puppy. That'd be something fun to do.
Yeah.
That sounds like an awful thing. That sounds like a terrible thing to do. But literally.
Why? You can just fix everything but it breaks with magic.
You're not supposed to mess up the ecosystem, and I'm pretty sure elephant-sized puppies would affect the ecosystem.
Yes, in that they would make everything happier.
Also, I would totally change my clothes using magic.
To be fair,
because sometimes
I would
it's
too.
a pain in the ass, and you're just like, especially if you're super tired, and you're like, I can't with this right now.
Not only that, but I'd be wearing fashionable suits every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably I'm in high school, right? Or junior high, wherever I'm at right now. And I'd be like, oh, hey, maybe I'm just going to make like this, all the right answers on this test. Bling, like make it happen.
God, if it was me in high school, it'd be like, I'll go back to 1981 and listen to Steve Perry sing the song from Journey.
Or even better, hey.
But don't talk to anyone, because you might affect the space-time continuum.
Or like we'd see in later episodes where they are actually like, oh, I want to listen to Steve Perry. Bling, here's Steve Perry.
Yeah.
And he'll start playing some song.
Randy Travis came out of nowhere last episode.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
God, still disgusting.
You do that all the time. Elton John, Elton John, Elton John.
Oh my God. Talk about
Can you imagine poor Elton John like, really, Al?
this guy again.
Al, you can't keep doing this.
Here's my
I have
album.
a family.
If you want to listen to Take Me to the Pilot, it's track 4. Anyway, Sabrina says that to prove that it's good to help others, she's going to do 3 nice things before the end of school today. But Salem warns her not to use her magic flippantly because terrible things will happen. Now, I feel like when the writer was crafting this episode, they basically went empty paragraph, terrible things. Empty paragraph, terrible things. Like every fucking scene ends with the phrase terrible things. And I get the point that, you know, it's going to come up at the end, but it's like after the 7th one, you're like, listen, I understand. She's walking near a cliff and she's going towards a fall. Just leave it alone a little bit. Phil, what did you think of the scene in Sabrina's room? What stuck out to you?
One of the things that stuck out to me was the horrible look of poor Salem. He looked terrible. I mean, he looked like a reject from, you know, It's a Small World up in Epcot. It looked awful.
I mean, we've talked about it earlier, but it bears repeating. The early episodes really, I mean, for as much as they tried with an animatronic cat, they spent way too much time on the animatronic and less time on the actual, like, cat. Because it looks less like a cat and more like, I don't know, something your mom, like, knitted for you. It's just hideous. Like, you can see the sewing lines and shit. It's just bad.
I mean, it literally looked like a stack of hair with eyes, and it just moved around its head, and its tail was whipping around.
Now,
that's pretty much it.
To be fair to the actual character of Salem, I feel like I say this every week also, but Nick fucking Bakay does an amazing job in this scene voicing Salem. Not only does he really smartly deliver those snarky lines, like, you know, Zelda says
Brussels sprouts.
He says Brussels sprouts like you wouldn't believe. No, Zelda says that it's time to pay your debt to society. He says, "Can I send a check?" And then even like the anger, or like the passion in his voice when he's like trying not to be dragged out from under the bed. You really believe it's a talking cat, and it's just an impressive voice acting job done by him.
Where are you?
You didn't see me? I was never here.
Sabrina, have you seen Salem?
No.
You are the worst liar.
Come on.
No! I won't go! I won't go! I won't go!
Oh, is it time for Salem to be wormed again?
No, worse. I have to do community service.
It's part of his punishment for attempting global conquest.
As if being a cat for 100 years wasn't enough, Zelda had to put me in a Pets for Prisoners program.
I gave you a choice. You could have done highway cleanup.
Yeah, cats do real well on highways.
Stop complaining and get your wormy little butt downstairs in 2 minutes. It's time to pay your debt to society.
Can't I just write a check?
Zelda also looked pretty good in that white top with red skirt combination.
I was about to say, not even the outfit, but when she like sashayed out of the room, like, all right, it's not to sound sexist or whatever, but like her hips were swaying, like that was a sashay.
Mike called me
If
out
you guys
last
didn't
week.
know, if you guys didn't note it, I was like, damn, like. I don't know why I just said it that way. It was like I was going to say damn and then damn at the same time. And it's just.
Damn.
Damn.
I mean, it was a commanding walk out, exit.
It was a
left.
power strut. It was,
Oh, yeah.
Mike Cassis, the apparent new prime minister of Germany, as I called him last week, he called me out on liking Zelda too much and having a bias here, but you can't blame me.
You definitely do, though.
You can't blame me. Beth Broderick got it going on in the 90s.
I'm pretty sure that was your first crush.
I don't know. Like I didn't think she was hot then.
No, he didn't.
I think she's hot now.
Oh, so when I hate to ask this
Yeah.
because it's a little off subject, but what was your first crush, Al?
Who's my first crush?
Like TV crush?
Like TV crush, not like a real person.
Right.
Like someone we'll never get. Like
I
we
always
will never
liked
get.
Jessica Biel on Seventh Heaven.
Good choice. That's a good choice.
I always liked Jessica Biel a lot. You know who I also like? You remember City Guys?
Yes, I do.
Oh, Cassidy.
I loved Cassidy, man.
I was going to say it wasn't Dawn.
Was that the blonde chick?
Yeah.
She was the blonde
Yeah.
one. To be fair, like later on in that series, Dawn, like she got her breasts, and Jesus Christ, they were huge.
If you say so, Al.
Go back and watch
He
it.
watches it all the time.
I haven't watched it in a while, but like season 5, it's just ludicrous. It's like Ariel Winter now,
Yeah.
Um,
Tommy from Power Rangers.
Well, see, as you can tell, Tommy from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
First
Except
crush.
I don't know if that was really the first.
it was always kicks. It's always fancy kicks.
No, I don't know. He was just like the ideal. It was freaking Tommy.
Everyone did love him.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I am Al and Chris's older brother. So mine is going to go way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So mine was probably either Kathy Ireland or Cindy Crawford, right?
Yeah, Cindy Crawford.
Supermodel. That was probably one of my first like unachievable crushes.
Both excellent choices.
But I mean, I'm talking like I was probably in the 5th grade.
But
Yeah.
like
So-
TV, like
for TV, I would probably say
Baywatch.
oh yeah, Pamela Anderson in Baywatch, absolutely.
Because we used to watch Baywatch.
Come
when
on,
we were,
slow
like, really
motion
young.
running. I mean,
Boobs.
Hell, Pamela Anderson on Home Improvement was great.
ooh, that's good too. That's true. But I mean, come on, slow motion running.
Oh yeah, I mean by that time everybody loved her.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Oh, there you go. A great little off subject here.
Yeah. Let's go back to Sabrina.
Back
let's talk about it.
back to Tommy from Power Rangers. Yeah, just one last thing. In Sabrina's room in the scene, in the background, there's a plastic potted sunflower wearing sunglasses because it's the 90s. I know somebody I knew had one of those. I don't know if it was Chris.
It wasn't me.
It might have been Steph.
I feel like it might have been.
I remember somebody having it. I'm like, God, who would spend any amount of currency on a plastic sunflower wearing sunglasses?
I don't even remotely remember it, so I don't think it was me.
I mean, as a child of the 90s, I had Pogs and Slammers. So
I had them as well.
Those were actually some of the hip 90s drugs that Sabrina, Pogs and Slammers. They can't all be Aces jokes, okay?
No.
no, they're not.
Back to the show.
But if some of them could be, that might
Fuck
be
off.
nice.
We all laughed at the Tommy joke a second ago. Back at Westbridge, Jenny and Libby are trying to rustle up votes because it's election time, and they're both running for sophomore class president. Jenny is running on a balanced ticket of smaller classes and more money for the arts, while Libby is putting all her resources into the more pizza agenda. Famous douchebag Milo Ventimiglia goes way towards the Libby side. He'd rather have the pizza. He's going to go ruin Rory's life in a couple of years. Sabrina explains...
Which is ridiculous because he would probably like more funding for the arts.
Well, Jess would.
Yeah.
This douche, I don't even know what his name is, but...
Douche number, whatever was on his jersey. 13? I don't remember what number it was.
It was a big pizza sign. Sabrina explains to Jenny that the reason why she's not getting many support is because she named her party the Outsider Party after the thing that they all most fear. But she tells her that she's got Sabrina's vote. Libby then walks by and just really smartly calls her a loser in just the bitchiest and simplest way possible. I mean, again, Jenny Green with a great Libby performance.
Poor Jenny. There's nothing like losing to say, you're a loser.
Jenny notes that she's depressed and she feels bad because she wanted to make a difference, but she knows she's not going to win. Sabrina gets it in her mind that, I promised I would do good things. I might as well just ruin this election, take it away from fairness, and just stuff the ballot box. That's one nice thing down. This is a bit of a weird scene, but there's a lot of fun stuff in the background. Speaking of fun stuff in the background, if you hear fireworks going off, there are fireworks going off. And I will point out, for a second straight episode of Sabrina's Witch Trials, there will be fireworks going off in the background. So that might be a streak on some sort of podcast.
It's just because we're here celebrating how great our podcast is.
That's true.
Or Al's podcast, I should say.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. Every episode of Sabrina's Witch Trials will have fireworks going off in the background. What did you think about the scene in the cafetorium with Jenny and Sabrina and Libby, Chris?
I don't know. I felt like it was kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because I've seen this episode so many times, but there was just nothing that really stood out as special. Yeah, those fireworks.
I thought that Jenny's performance, specifically when she's saying how she wishes she could win because she really wanted to make a difference, was like shockingly devoid of emotion or like any real passion. And I get the point is that she's supposed to be portraying that she's so, beaten by just the knowledge that she's not going to win. But it really just comes off as a wooden, uninteresting, unfeeling performance.
I wish I could win. I really wanted to make a difference.
Well, I did write a couple of notes about this scene.
Mm-hmm.
One being Jenny's outfit was awful.
I did note that as well.
I'm like, really? Here you are trying to go for class president, and you look like you just shopped in the bargain bin at Goodwill.
Right. Nobody's saying that she's got to hooker it up, but she's wearing like a grayish green vest and skirt combo over like a brown long sleeve shirt. It looks like, you went walking through the woods on a wet winter's day, It's just all these earth tones.
Very 90s.
Oh my God.
It was very 90s.
There's a scene later on where Sabrina, Hilda, and Zelda are all wearing brown.
It was like a collegiate look that people went for.
It looked terrible.
But to Phil's point, nobody's going to vote for that.
I wouldn't vote for that. I'm on Team Libby. That was just me. And then the ballot box exploding with votes all of a sudden. Yeah. I understand they had to do it for the scene, for the visual aspect, but come on, people, really? Like, it literally blew apart.
Yeah, Phil is strongly Libby or bust.
Also, how is the person checking the ballots not going to be like, what the just happened here?
That's definitely a lot of voter fraud going on over here. And then you look at the box, and it looks like it got right over by a semi.
It's busted.
And also, the amount of votes probably doesn't even match the amount of people in the school. Like, who is not checking this? Like, come on, guys.
And really, how many times can IP freely vote? It's just ludicrous. Also, in the background, as I said, we get a shot of Libby and Jenny's competing campaign posters. And let me tell you, there's a pretty big difference. Libby is smart here because she's just hammering home her agenda really clearly. big yellow posters, vote Libby, more pizza with a big pizza on it. And the other one is vote Libby and then the word meatloaf and just like the anti-sign over it. Mm-hmm. She knows who she's appealing to. Jenny, on the other hand, has this purple poster with like black script that says Jenny and then bullet points. But instead of bullet points, they're sunflowers because, again, it's the 90s. And 3 different like bullet points: leadership, scholarship, compassion. Nobody's going to vote for that. Nobody in high school wants to vote for compassion.
I think everybody votes for more pizza.
Precisely.
Or boobs.
Exactly. Pizza. Boobs. Boobs again. That's how you get elected.
Pizza, boobs, less meatloaf. Votes for me.
In the halls, Sabrina runs into Harvey with the good hair, who is drinking something that just smells gross out of a mega gulp cup. Noted that. It's a protein shake because he needs to bulk up if he wants to start on the football team. Sabrina compliments him, saying that he's got some newfound girth there. He's a little bit thicker. He actually did look thicker, but I think it's just because they put him in like a chunky like shirt.
Yeah.
He did look a little bit fatter here. Harvey points out that across the hall there's Randy the Destroyer. And he says that unless Randy gets injured or he gains 20 pounds, Harvey's going to be sitting on the bench. Harvey, again, pretty blandly expresses his desire to start on the team. You know, basically just saying like, God, I really want to play, and just walks off.
But you see that guy over there? That's Randy, the Destroyer. Unless I put on 20 pounds or he gets injured, I stay on the bench. Man, I want to play. You want to go in?
Sabrina decides that here's another chance for me to help someone and literally injures another person just to help Harvey to start in the game. Now, here's the thing. There are 2 ways she could have gone about this. She could have just helped Harvey gain 20 pounds through magic, right? She didn't have to injure someone.
Well, he was the starter. So even if he gained the 20 pounds, he would still, the guy is still starting.
Right.
The Destroyer is.
Yeah.
So I see why she did what she did, but I also agree with you that he could have just gained the 20 pounds and maybe...
You could even cast a spell to make him really good at the game of football.
Yeah, she kind of failed that, as we learned.
Because she literally, the previous episode, uses a spell to influence a sporting game. Yes. She could do that. Also, I feel like the name Randy the Destroyer is like a super lazy nickname. I mean, that's one of the ones like I come up with.
It's like saying like, it's Al the podcaster. Okay.
Football Randy's going to rip you up tonight.
I mean, pretty much. That's what we got. It's like, oh, it's Randy the tackler. Okay.
Football Randy. Anyway. In class, Mr. Poole is teaching, but he gets there late because he drives a shitty AMC Gremlin. And let me tell you, I'm a person who actually loves the AMC Gremlin. I love old like 70s hatchbacks and 80s hatchbacks, and I think it's pretty cool looking, even though it's pretty ugly. Harvey just kind of rudely asks him why doesn't he have a better car, and Mr. Poole rightly shuts him down, pointing out that he's poor, you dumbass. I'm a public school teacher. I don't make a lot of the money.
Sorry I'm late, but my car broke down. Made the mistake of trying to go uphill in my AMC Gremlin.
Why don't you just get a better car, Mr. Poole?
Like a Ferrari? Sure. You know what? I'm going to run right out after class and buy one. And I'll pay for it with frustration. Now can we move on to science?
He starts his lesson on the elements and why one cannot turn lead into gold. Can't do it. No way. Nothing's going to happen in the next scene. Anyway, wrapping up with talking about the noble gases. He also makes a really rude comment when the students go to get up, and he's like, all right, and take showers. And when he points at one kid, he's like, especially you.
You know what? It's funny that you bring that up because I wrote that down, and around it, I wrote parentheses, bullying question mark?
Yes.
Because, I mean, seriously, like in our day and age, well, not now, I mean, not back then, but now, I mean, a teacher would probably get fired for something like that.
Definitely.
you can even say that to a student, but saying it in that like flippant, like go wash your ass tone,
and in front of the whole class too. Like,
well, he told the whole class they needed to take a shower,
yeah.
But especially you, smelly guy, you need to take one especially. And then to go back to what you just finished about saying with Mr. Poole and Harvey, I mean, out of all the cars in the world, Mr. Poole goes, what should I get? A Ferrari? Yeah. Like, okay, sorry, sir. You know, you are driving like one of the worst cars ever built in the history of automobiles.
It's a good point.
So, Harvey asked, well, why don't you get a nice car? Well, what do you expect me to get? A Ferrari? Well,
there is a middle ground there.
You have many a
Toyota.
A Toyota Corolla, sir, would be perfect for you.
Maybe buy an automobile from a company that still exists.
A Honda Civic. That will get you there.
Well, that's a popular
I want a Ferrari. What do you ask for? Like a Gulfstream jet next there, Mr. Poole?
To be fair, his Datsun was in the shop. After class, Sabrina asks Mr. Poole why he's being so jerky today. And Mr. Poole says that there's nothing wrong, and then he goes to for some reason he goes to flip his briefcase rather fancily to leave, and
jauntily
is another word, and the handle just breaks off, and he explains that, you know what, I just have a shitty life, and goes into great detail about his shitty life, including that on the weekends he washes Principal LaRue's car just to pay the bills.
Teacher 7 years and I still can't afford a new briefcase. I found this one.
I was wondering who TGK was.
Just to pay my bills, I have to work cafeteria duty, I have to supervise the science club, and on weekends I wash Principal LaRue's car.
Well, maybe you should consider doing something else.
Like what? I love teaching science. It's the only good thing in my life.
This is why he's driving a fucking
that, and I do
AMC.
I don't know if you noticed, but the suitcase was hilarious because there's one strip of duct tape, literally just it literally looked like they just slapped a piece of duct tape on this
perfectly good
suitcase. Yeah. It's the suitcase did not look garbagey. It just it's a nice suitcase, and we're just going to put this one piece of duct tape on there.
And now it's a bum's case.
Now it's a bummy case.
So yeah, he has to do all that. He actually found this briefcase. As he goes to leave, Sabrina gives him the finger, and that causes him to hypothesize about the possibilities of converting lead into gold. Realizing that, hey, it's possible. Screw science. He starts to quickly write stuff down on the chalkboard as he kind of says goodbye to Sabrina and really gets her the hell out of there so he can get his formula down. And that's 3 good things. I'm sure there will be no consequences in the second or third act.
Before you move on, Al, real quick, about one of the things that fell out of his briefcase. One of the things were a bunch of coupons, and then Sabrina picks one up. Oh, she goes, oh, here's an expired coupon for 40 cents. And Mr. Poole yells, no!
Listen, when you... 40 cents is...
What was it for? Cream corn?
No, fruit kooks. Fruit-flavored cookies.
Fruit cooks. I'm I actually did chuckle.
Moons?
No, it's off-brand Fig Moons. It's a Snickers or a Butter Thumb. Remember those?
Yeah, but it was somewhat funny. I did chuckle a little bit there.
Hey, 40 cents is like 20 minutes less he's got to wash the principal's car. He's got to save everything he can. I think it's actually interesting because the one good thing about this episode is that you get a much deeper understanding of Mr. Poole as a rounded character. I feel in these first 4 episodes, he's the one that you find out the most about. He's got the 40 bits with Zelda last episode. He's definitely a loser from the first 2 episodes. Now his life is just pure shit. But I feel you get a real deep understanding about this character. And it should be said, Paul Feig is doing a really good job as Mr. Poole. This episode asks a lot of him. And I feel in everything, just about everything, he's really fun to watch.
I'll get into a little more later, but I genuinely don't like Mr. Poole.
The character.
I don't like him, and I don't like the message he sends, because as much as it's about comedy, I feel a lot of the things that he expresses in this episode are really negative things to be sending to impressionable children and teenagers. Well, but I'll get into that later with some of the things he says. It's just...
Do you mean like, hey kid, you smell, take a shower?
That's bad advice.
That's part of it, because even in previous episodes, I've already said in the episodes on the episodes that I covered that I feel like he is just extremely snarky, like to this level where he's just a freaking douche. Like it's an unprofessional level.
I feel like that in part is just like a symptom of the 90s, because I feel like everyone on TV was like so snarky and so like combative in their style of comedy in the 90s. Like every sitcom you would watch, it was like somebody said something and I hit them with this insulting joke. Yeah, there wasn't so much of like a loosey set up a joke, deliver the joke. It was really more, we're talking and then I insult you in some way or I make some snarky comment.
But it's also that he's just like a miserable person. Like there are people that are unhappy, but that still manage to not just act like the world is fucking shitting on them for every single thing.
Just think of Mr. Poole's life, though, that we've seen in the last 4 episodes, including this one. I mean, his life is not desirable.
He goes on science-based chat rooms to talk to girls.
It was the 90s. People went on chat rooms
I know,
to talk about all kinds of things.
Chris, I hate to break it to you. It wasn't like the hip, young, cool dudes going on chat rooms, mostly.
I mean, yeah, can you imagine this, like, Yahoo chat? It probably had 2 people in there with Mr. Poole, and, like, the other one was a bot.
Zelda. Biostud and Chem Kitten were there. We go to Sabrina's house now. And Hilda is giving a violin lessons to Jeffrey, a really shitty student. She takes his violin into the kitchen, where she promptly smashes it to bits for Mozart. That's why I do most things, is for Mozart. As Sabrina comes in, she asks Hilda why she doesn't just use her magic to make Jeffrey good at the violin. And Zelda says that it's because she can't, because witches have rules about those things. But Hilda is just like, fuck it, I just want the money. You know, just give me the gold.
I think I called it witch code.
Yes.
They got witch code.
Hashtag witch code.
Hashtag witch code.
Hilda goes back to Jeffrey with a now fixed violin that she magically fixes. And a nice bit of like I guess it had to be, it wasn't really a special effect. It was probably done practically, but it looked fun to watch. Very gifable. At Sabrina Podcast. Zelda goes on to explain that witches can't meddle in the lives of mortals, even if they think the mortals want them to, because they can't predict the consequences, and terrible things might happen. One of my only notes for this scene was Hilda is wearing a shockingly lovely, beautiful, like blue flowery top with like nice defined shoulders and a fun collar. When she smashes the violin. Nice pattern, good cut, looks good on her. Dramatically better showing fashion-wise for Caroline Ray this episode than usual. Sabrina, by comparison, is wearing like... She was wearing it this whole episode, but I noted it here. It's a fine, like, black skirt and black, like, sweater, but under a, like, brown suede vest that just kind of makes you go, what the fuck is going on here?
It was very 90s.
I'm sure, but... The
amount of, like, vests that were worn in the 90s over, like, perfectly fine shirts, like, that didn't need a vest. Mm-hmm. It was just a thing.
Page 8 in the Delia's catalog, I'm pretty sure.
Sweater vests.
$49.95.
Like, suit-looking vests. Always with, like, long-sleeve turtleneck shirts. And
work.
Shirts that did not need a vest over the top. Like, you were perfectly warm. You didn't need that extra layer.
Yeah, there is a lot of vests, extra vesting for some reason.
Or wearing long-sleeve shirts with turtlenecks under dresses. Like, it's a lot of layering.
I also noted right here that Zelda is drinking tea that's obviously some sort of like dry iced tea. Yeah. There's a lot of fucking dry ice in there.
Lipton's new dry iced tea.
I mean,
burn your mouth.
And or when you're looking for something not so wet.
Yeah.
Extra cold.
I mean, it's ludicrous because it's so obvious that it's like it's supposed to be like kind of spooky because she's telling her terrible things and all of this like smoke comes up, but they don't. This isn't even the only time that they do it. Like in later episodes, she's still drinking tea and like there's still a big plume of smoke coming out of it.
Well, because you're a witch, so anything you have to make has to have some kind of smoke coming out of it.
I've made this brisket.
Joke.
Smoke.
Oh, yes. Oh, here I baked these cookies. Smoke.
I opened this letter. Bam. The bam sound was indicating smoke. Anything else to add here? Fellow lady? Fwady?
Yes, I do. Jeffrey, we learned that Jeffrey plays the violin terribly.
Yes.
And then there's a line that comes out that I kind of chuckled to as well. Mozart started rolling around in his grave 10 minutes ago, is what I believe she said, which was pretty funny.
This one's for Mozart.
Hey, guys. Oh, I see Jeffrey's here.
Yep. Mozart started spinning in his grave about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, please, let the poor man rest in peace.
Caroline Ray here. Good performance by her in an otherwise not great episode.
Wasn't that great of a scene, quite honestly.
Honestly, I mean, she's not in a lot of it, but I feel like what she is in isn't the offensive part of this episode. And for her character, that's a positive.
I feel like that this is the highest praise Al has ever given Hilda.
It's probably the highest praise I will ever give Hilda.
He said she had a perfectly lovely outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said her performance was good. Like,
I mean, is Al turning a leaf?
No.
Okay.
He's all Team Zelda.
I believe the next episode is the Halloween one. And in that episode, she does something which I fucking love. But after that, she'll be fine.
I always had a little small space in my heart for Caroline Ray.
Yeah?
I did too. I don't know why you didn't like her.
You know why? I don't think I disliked her so much as a kid because I feel like her comedy is very much geared towards younger viewers. But when I watch it as an adult, everything that Zelda says that's a joke is funny to me, but never gets an ADR laugh. And everything that Hilda says for the most part isn't that funny or is really like stupid obvious, and yet gets like a big hilarious guffaw from the fake crowd.
I don't know. I think I had a thing for Hilda. I'm not
Did
gonna
you?
lie. I think I did.
Did you watch her super awesome talk show?
Well, see, that wasn't Hilda. That's Caroline Ray.
That's Caroline Ray, but you had to think Caroline Ray also, didn't you?
See, but that's the thing, though.
He had a thing for the witch.
I had a thing for the witch.
She was...
Because she was sassy.
She was.
But, Caroline Ray's okay. Caroline, just shout out to you for your great work if you're listening.
Sweet Caroline. Clears throat to get rid of the bad joke. At school the next day, Sabrina asks Jenny for some news about the election, and she shows her the school newspaper that says Libby won, even though the election hasn't been called yet. Jenny notes that it's a weekly, and I noted that this isn't even the only time they'll make that same joke in this season. They make it at least once more. The principal comes over the loudspeaker, and he announces to everyone but Sabrina's surprise that Jenny won. She's the sophomore class president. Round of applause for Jenny. That's how much applause she actually got in the episode, because nobody voted for Jenny. Later in the hall, Jenny and Sabrina run into Harvey, who has some good news of his own. Shockingly, even though we already know what's going on here. The coach is letting him start on running back, and he invites them to go watch him start. They're in. And guess what happens in biology, Chris? Guess. Mr. Poole comes in with lumps o' gold. I do love the fact...
Why did you ask me to guess if you're just gonna cut in?
You took a millisecond too long to guess, so I'm like...
He was very excited for that answer.
But I just love the word... I love how often Paul Feig, Mr. Poole, says the phrase lumps in this episode. He never calls it like a piece of gold or like this bit of gold.
Like gold nugget?
No, it's always a lump of gold. And for some reason, I fucking love that. Anyway, he announces that he's late to class today because he had to go pick up his new car. His new car being a Ferrari hat, because that's all we ever see.
Maybe.
It's all you need to see. You don't just get the hat, Al.
Well, the ABC budget is this is only the first season. We just can't make a Ferrari. We don't have Ferrari money for this episode.
No. We don't even have fucking AMC Gremlin money.
I mean, come on, Mr. Poole. You should have just gone for the Toyota Camry. I mean, come on, let's go with it.
Thanks to the miracle of science, he's now got a wicked new ride, and he starts offering the kids lumps of gold for correct answers in biology. Everyone's super happy, and nothing will ever go wrong. Wink. I feel like here we get a good line from Jenny Green where Libby goes up to her in biology and is like, "Oh, Libby, I want to congratulate you." Jenny goes up to her and she's like, "Libby, I want to congratulate you on being so poised in your loss." And she's just like, "Just bite me, all right? Just fuck right off. I don't have time for your bullshit." She's also wearing some like huge triangle earrings that look a little ludicrous, but that's besides the point.
Libby, I just wanted to say that I think you handled your defeat very gracefully.
Oh, bite me.
Yeah, it kind of looked like those dinner triangles like they used to use in the Old West. I just wanted to like run up to her and just like ring it to have all the cowboys come in.
Bunch of prospectors walk up to Jenny.
Come on, cowboys, it's time for dinner. Ding, ding,
Get
ding,
your
ding,
lump
ding,
of gold.
ding, 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 ding.
Lump of gold. As I said, I do love the fact that Mr. Poole, to illustrate, he has a Ferrari, just wears a hat. I'm pretty much going to get a hat that says social life and just like walk around with it like, hey, look at me. I have to be off now because of this thing right here.
I mean, it pretty much is like if I wore like a New York Mets hat, it's like, I'm the owner of the team. Look at me.
Sorry, I was busy picking up my team. That's Phil adjusting his cap.
That was me adjusting my cap. And it fits well.
Also, I love I'm going to point this out a bunch because it really illustrates the lack of budget on the first season. But Mr. Poole has all this money, and yet he's wearing the exact same brown jacket and like gray velvet slacks that he was wearing the day before, and the same red tie. The only thing they changed was his shirt. They went from plaid to paisley because paisley is the rich man's print, and plaid is the working man's print. The one who needs to save 40 cents on Fruit Kooks.
Lord knows how much a Ferrari hat cost back then. So that's where all the budget went for the clothing to the Ferrari
Probably
hat.
wasn't even a real, like they went on like some street like in New York and it's like, yeah, it's got 1 R. That's fine. Just give it to me. They won't read it anyway.
There you go.
He's just like a myriad of bad planning, though. I mean...
Oh, it gets worse.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. Actually, it gets comically worse. So...
Like,
actually, Mr. Poole is the best part of this whole episode, I think. His demise, and I think that, as we'll see later on.
Yeah. Also, go ahead, Chris.
I just wanted to mention in the cafeteria scene, the whole time, really, did you guys notice Sabrina's outfit?
Was this where she was wearing like
gray
the
on
taupe,
gray?
the taupe with like the taupe and like the taupe, like the pink taupe skirt over, dress over?
I thought it was like gray on gray.
I think you're right. I think it was the gray on gray.
It was it was a gray turtleneck and then almost the exact same shade of gray dress over.
Yeah. And like gray tights also, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was just like all gray.
Yeah.
Like
to be fair though,
all gray, every gray.
To be fair though, I believe it's here where
I think we're actually paying an homage to him today because we're all wearing gray.
we are.
Yeah.
Hashtag I'm with her. Her being Sabrina.
Hashtag gray all day.
Hashtag all day gray.
Gray on gray all day.
I also want to point out in the cafeteria scene, we get a look at the other election posters for like other candidates. I did note some of these because they were kind of fun. There was one that said "Vote Andrea for freshman Prez" with a Z, and the O in 4 was a star, and it was all red. And I thought Andrea knew what she was doing because
Or Andrea.
I'm gonna go with Andrea.
Probably Andrea.
There was also one that said, "Why can't we all just get along? Vote Buddy," a reference to was that Jesse Jackson who said, "Why can't we all just get along?" After the Rodney King riots.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oof, hard one. And then there was one that said Bob, and then in like a graffiti font it said "Born to be President." Just "Born" was graffiti tagged.
Oh, was it like a 2 and then a B?
No, it was just Bob graffiti "Born." The word "to be president."
Mine would say Chris, not the worst.
Mine would say, "Who wants pizza? Vote for Al."
What about yours?
I'm not promising. I'm not promising pizza. I'm just asking who wants pizza.
Mine would be something like more popcorn. Vote for Phil.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like
because I can't steal Al's pizza idea. He's already done it.
Vote Phil for more boobs.
No, that's good.
No, because I can't promise more boobs.
I can't promise more popcorn.
We could probably get some popcorn.
Mine would really be like, "Can you believe that bitch Jenny? Vote for Al." That one over there with her fucking balanced
something
budget.
like, "We'll get Jenny to show her boobs." vote for
Oh,
Phil.
no.
Libby.
Not on
You don't want to see Libby's moves. Jenny.
Hey, she's
Michelle
the intellectual.
Bowden is a good actress. Like, she's clearly a better actress than the show deserves. But, like, no thanks.
I like the quiet, shy type.
Do you like Alan Dershowitz references? Because we're going to get one of those in a second.
Yeah, I have. The next scene, I have a couple of notes that we're going to talk about.
All right, so Sabrina heads back home after this wonderful day of lumps of gold and her friends winning elections. She finds Salem has returned from his community service, and he's brought with him a sick Alan Dershowitz reference.
Salem, you're back. How was jail?
Not bad. There's a guy in solitary convinced Alan Dershowitz appeared to him as a talking cat. I told him I'd call the governor and plead his innocence.
See, I told you it was nice to help people.
Are you kidding? I'm not calling.
All the teenagers were going crazy for that one in 1996.
I mean, look, I know it was fresh off of OJ, but come on, man, really?
Yeah, just wait till season 2 when we get a Geraldine Ferraro reference. That's going to drive him crazy.
So, and I forgot to mention this. I did not know that the mascot for the school was the Fighting Scallions.
Oh, baby.
So, yes, I did see that in the previous scene that it had the Fighting Scallions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, out of all the actual mascots to have, a scallion is probably the least of scariest.
I think that is such a fucking great joke because it's just a play on all those schools that are named after animals. It's like, we can name ourselves after a vegetable. That's cool. And I think the logo is actually really funny too because it's like a really agitated scallion running towards something.
I think actually in the next scene where we learn about Harvey's demise,
He didn't die.
Well, no, but you know,
reports of Harvey's demise have been greatly exaggerated.
We'll learn about it here in a minute, but it was ironic that like they're standing in the booth and you actually see the Fighting Scallion logo, which was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Like Al says, it looks like a scallion, a very angry scallion running off the battle.
Scallions.
Good. Use it. So yes, Alan Dershowitz reference. She goes on to tell him about all the good things she's done today, but he's not really interested, and he goes and just walks away. Hilda arrives, and she won't shut up about pizza. Always talking about pizza. Hey, did somebody say pizza? I need pizza. Zaps in a pizza.
It wins elections.
Apparently it fucking does. It fucking got Hilda's vote. Sabrina starts telling her all the way she's helped her friends, but Hilda reminds her about the terrible things that can happen.
Terrible things.
Good. Very Penn Jillette of you. Sabrina, still not believing anything, leaves in a huff as Hilda notes that the pizza that she zapped in was terrible pizza. Again, shut the hell up about the pizza. You're a witch. You should be able to zap in good pizza by this point.
I mean, if I'm a witch, or a warlock, I guess, wouldn't you be like, hey, I want to get like the world's best pizza from like, I don't know, let's pick a city, New York City, and like, boom, it's there. Why would you make like awful like Tostino's pizza? You know what I'm saying?
I wrote these notes a while ago, but I want to say this again because it's really worth saying. Hilda really, I don't know why, but they really decided to make her talk about pizza a lot in this scene. And she kind of reminds me of like every girl I meet on Tinder where it's like their description is something to do with pizza and like a veiled joke. It's like they always describe themselves about pizza. It's like, oh, 43% pizza, 57% sass. Or like, I'm 10 slices of pizza in an 8-slice box.
0% cool.
Or like, I always eat 7 slices of pizza because I can't even when it comes to pizza. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Al doesn't even eat pizza.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's not going to win my fair heart.
Yeah, ladies, you need to start talking about like turkey sandwiches.
Tell me about that water you drink.
Tell me about the turkey sandwich on wheat bread, and we're all over it.
Tell me about them.
Tell me about that Special K Bay.
Special Bay. Hashtag Special Bay.
Hashtag Special K Bay.
Hashtag K Bay. All right. At the football game. We go to the football game. Jenny and Sabrina are standing in the commentator's booth where they watch Harvey take the field. Sabrina notes that Harvey looks a little bit smaller than all the other players. Go figure. Maybe if you'd have zapped him on 20 pounds, he wouldn't have that problem.
Duh.
Just then, Harvey gets tackled hard on a run, as the scene closes with sirens abound and the announcer, who looks like he's fucking 13 years old, noting that this is a terrible thing. Whoopsie-doodle.
This is the most terrible thing that's ever happened.
He is a bit of like a 1940s.
I know. It was like something like on the teletype. And here the newsies here over here talking. And look at the old
Lyndon LaRouche.
Here comes Harvey. He's coming out with a football. Oh no, that's the most terrible thing I've ever seen.
You're turning into Jay Leno there.
I mean, literally. It was literally that's what it sounded like.
It's 1st and 10 from the 21, and the Scallions keep it on the ground. Kroger hands off to Kinkle.
Harvey's got the ball!
And he is pummeled! Oh, the humanity! That guy had no business being out there. Oh, this is a terrible thing!
All right, that's not anything.
Enough voices.
By the way, all my impressions end up being God, who is it? Oh, it's
Woody
Allen.
Woody Allen.
They all go Woody Allen.
I said it sounded a little Joe Pesci.
Yeah, that didn't sound Woody Allen, but normally he'll start one and it's fine, and then
that's true.
Almost right away it's
that
Woody
is true.
Allen.
I have heard the Woody Allen Al.
Yeah, good.
# Woody Allen Al.
During this injury scene, I think Chris, you have something to mention here.
Yeah. Where the fuck did Westbridge get the money for this enormous stadium?
That, yes. Also, they have
Mr. Pool's gold.
His lumps of gold. It's the lumps of gold, the stadium.
He would not be investing it back into the school because he's a miserable human being.
Go ahead. I think Al's gonna say what I was thinking. But go ahead.
I did love in this scene that as we see the commentator commentating, there's just this one guy who keeps holding up signs, and at one point his sign reads, "Harvey is our man." Who is that person, and why is he the only one holding up a sign and holding it up for Harvey?
I don't know. Maybe
that's what
Man Crush?
No, that's what the 6th season of American Horror Story is going to be all about. American Horror Story, Harvey.
It should have said "hot for Harvey's hair."
HHOH.
Because alliteration brings all the bass to the art.
Harvey's hot hair hits heat.
Home.
It's home.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Talk about the 5H Club.
Although in this scene as well, we have Sabrina in there, and they're looking at Mr. Poole.
Yes.
And there is a blonde sitting next to Mr. Poole, but as we find out later on, she is not with Mr. Poole.
What a weird joke. Because like you get the joke that you expect, and then they just like wipe it away. It's like, I guess the blonde came with the car. Oh, nope, with somebody else. Whatever.
Wow, great view. This is so cool hanging out in the president's section watching Harvey start. Oh, look, there's Mr. Poole.
Wow, who's the blonde?
I think she came with the Ferrari. Oh, no, wait. She's with the guy next to him.
I literally wrote, even gold can't make Mr. Poole desirable.
I don't know.
Poor Mr. Poole.
I think
he keeps wearing those gray velvet pants. I mean, damn.
I think the problem with him is just a misuse of his resources.
Oh.
Rather than focusing on things he should be going after, like
making more gold as quickly as possible.
Hotties. He's like, okay, let me buy a car, make lumps of gold, and then toss them out
to kids.
Let me never write down the formula.
No, Chris.
Let me not actually buy a new briefcase, which I desperately need.
We'll get there.
Or new clothes, which I desperately need.
Hold on, he does get some new clothes. He gets some very nice.
He might have already
outfits.
had that paisley shirt.
No. I mean the outfit he's wearing when he's eating in the cafeteria, and then that boss suit he's got. Hugo Boss suit.
He's got a Ferrari hat. Chris,
that's true.
A Ferrari hat.
Yeah, everything goes with.
That's
a red
where all
Ferrari
his
hat.
money went.
$29.95 at your local Ferrari dealership.
$34.95 in your local Delia's catalog.
Page 9.
All right. So we come back from commercial break and we find out that, contrary to Phil's reporting, Harvey's not dead. And in fact, he's just in a cast. We also see Libby spoon feeding him food. She ends up burning him because she's got to be mean to somebody somehow. Sabrina and Jenny then start talking about Harvey's sprain. Sabrina brings it up, and then Jenny just comments on it, and then Sabrina's immediately like, "Can we stop talking about this?" Like, bitch, you brought it up a second ago.
I feel so bad about Harvey. I can't believe he sprained his arm.
I can't believe that's all he sprained.
Can we change the subject? Let's talk about you being president.
Like I said, what did I say? She's never nice to Jenny. Like, she always treats her like crap. Like,
Jenny,
I'm the main show. You're
right.
just like side hoe.
You can be president, but I'm really president.
I liked mine better.
They actually start talking about Jenny and her upcoming meeting with the principal, and Milo again steps into the scene and is like, "Hey, tell him about this shitty meatloaf, am I right?" And fucking Jenny just carves him up, talking about intellectual freedom and whatnot. But then again, that's all wiped away when she's like, "God, this meatloaf really does suck."
She says, like, and I quote, "This meatloaf really gags."
Mm-hmm. And she makes that gags face.
Gags. Who the hell says that? Like, I've never heard anyone say that.
Clearly,
Is that like
class presidents.
Was that a 90s thing that
Probably.
I just wasn't hip to because I was too young?
We were all gagging in the 90s. That's not what I meant
it really
to say.
gags.
That was a term that would be used, yes.
Yes. Gag me with a spoon.
Oh, gag me.
Ew.
With a spoon.
Thank you.
That just didn't sound right.
Speaking of spoons, Sabrina sees Mr. Poole eating lunch. Not with a spoon, but I needed a segue anyway. He's being served by some fancy waiter, even though he's still sitting in the same cafeteria that Sabrina was. The differentiating note, he has a tablecloth, so you know he's fancy. He probably wipes his mouth on
Not only
this.
does he have a tablecloth in the school cafeteria, but he has a waiter.
Yes.
And I don't know how well you noticed, but he actually even had like a full service set in front of him.
I did not pick up on.
So
the
he
plate.
had like a little like sugar set, and I'm like, why would you need sugar, Mr.
In
Poole?
case his linguine is too sweet.
Which he orders linguine and white truffle,
Yeah.
which is, I guess the most poshest thing you can in the 90s order.
My favorite part is that he actually comments to Sabrina like, "Oh, no more of that artery clogging food. Bring me some of that linguine and white truffle. That's a light meal."
What really bothered me was that he said, "Now that I'm rich, I have a reason to live." That is a great lesson to be giving to these teenagers. Like, oh, you're only worthy of living if you have an abundance of money.
He does also note that he has a reason to live because now he gets to teach for the joy of teaching. So he is saying that he has something that he loves. He's just able to fully appreciate it now, but he doesn't have to worry about money.
Yeah, but his exact quote makes it sound like...
Yes, but you have to listen to the second sentence.
I understand that, but it's still not something you should be teaching children.
Sabrina, realizing
as
that,
a show
realizing
and
that
as
this
a
isn't something
teacher,
you should be teaching children, walks away from Mr. Poole and walks up to Harvey, and they start talking about his game recently, and Harvey highlights that his father is really a bit of a dick because he's been torturing him with a tape of his failure. I mean, fuck off, Harvey's dad. Libby gets in a great line about being a cheerleader.
Yeah, it's always fucking cheerleaders.
Libby, I mean, for the little bit that you see her, she's on her generally green on top of her game here.
I mean, I believe the actual quote is, actually, as I wrote it down, "I'm a cheerleader. Let me handle this."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm a cheerleader. Let me handle this.
Libby legit looks like a young wife. Like, not just the whole feeding, caring for Harvey, but her outfit and her hairstyle, it's just
she's the football player's wife.
Yeah.
Also, just for nothing, but I've seen Jenna Lee Green recently. Held up pretty well. Mazel tov to you, Ms. Lee Green. Or if you're married, whatever the fuck your married name is. Or if you hyphenated, or if you didn't change, you look good anyway. Sabrina then wants to get away from the situation because she's feeling really guilty, and she awkwardly apologizes without apologizing, and then just runs out of there. I thought that this scene specifically is probably one of the better scenes for Melissa Joan Hart acting wise that we've seen in the first couple of episodes. I think that she really captures the pained feeling of pain. I'm kidding. The pain feeling of having a friend who's suffered at your hand and not wanting to tell them, but all that guilt really weighing on you. I think it's a really good job by her.
Sure. Well, I just wanted to let you know that I'm sorry. Not like a responsible sorry, more like sympathetic sorry in a blameless third-party sort of way. Feel better.
Jenny gets called into the principal's office for her meeting where she enters into a dark room with Principal LaRue. This is actually the only episode where you actually see Principal LaRue. So, bit of a note.
Didn't you see him in an earlier
You
episode?
hear about him. I think you might hear him over the loudspeaker, but you actually only see him in this episode.
Right.
Did anybody else, when they saw Principal LaRue, go, that voice does not match what I thought?
Well, I know who the actor is because I've seen a lot of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Like.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, he's a big guy.
That's
he's got
what
a
he's
nice
from.
voice. Yeah.
I kept thinking, I was like, I know this guy. Where the hell is he from?
Where's he from?
He's been on Everybody Loves Raymond. He was on
one
all
of Ray's
those,
friends who had
Gotcha.
his wife.
I remember now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those things I was just like, the voice does not match what I thought it would match. But that's me.
Principal LaRue, the voice and the man, basically started shooting down each one of Jenny's points in her contract with Westbridge. I just want to check right now. Chris, did you get that reference now?
No.
Okay. So you definitely didn't get it in 1996. I'm pretty sure it was more topical then, but still, most of the teenagers weren't getting a Newt Gingrich reference in 1996. But yeah, he shoots down class size changes, shoots down arts funding, changing textbooks, curriculum, even parking. Even he can't change parking.
Even he can't do that, he says.
He then goes into this really great, ominous speech about decisions being made by people in, rooms and then powerful men.
Smoke-filled boardrooms is what he said, because I wrote that one down.
It's a really great performance because it's got that ominous bit, but there's also, he managed to work some comedy into there because just the whole situation is a bit laughable, but he really is a bit intimidating just with the setting and everything. I liked it a lot for what it is.
These topics that you raise are not to be addressed in this room. They are decided by powerful men in smoke-filled boardrooms hundreds of miles from here. It is not your place to question their choices. They know you, Jennifer, better than you know yourself. Let's leave the business of school to the people whose business is school. Student class elections have always been a popularity contest. Let's keep it that way.
He says that student body elections have always been popularity contests and that they should stay popularity contests. And then he shreds her contract with Westbridge in the most cliched paper shredder. I don't think any of those actually exist where the paper is held so high above the bin that it could easily fall out.
No, but the single shred did exist. But yeah, it was no cross-cut shredder.
No. She could easily stitch that back together.
She could have easily stitched it back together. Anybody with a couple rolls of masking.
Some
tape.
janitors just going through the government's oh, these are all great reforms we could implement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she feels real bad. She ends up at the spicery and Sabrina meets her there later. And Jenny basically just slamming back those root beers, talking about how she's realized that she doesn't really have much power, even though she was elected, and it's really more of a vanity thing than anything else. Sabrina tells her to stop drinking those terrible, terrible root beers because she'll die. No, she doesn't, but she will, though. She being Jenny, actually gives us the whopper line of, "I know how the meatloaf is made." That really captures politics in a nutshell, doesn't it? Know how the meatloaf is made. I think I pretty much said everything that I had to say about the whole Principal LaRue scene. Chris, anything you wanted to add?
Not really.
Oh, but there's one thing I want to touch on because it comes up later on. For some reason, there's a photo of Richard Nixon in Principal LaRue's office. That makes more sense later on than it will now. In fact, looking back from later on, it actually makes it makes no sense for it to be there currently. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So back at home, Sabrina tries to go upstairs, but she's stopped by her kooky aunts. I love the word kooky. Because she's received a summons from Drell. When she and her aunts arrive in Drell's office, she finds out that not only does it remind her a lot of the principal's office, it's in fact a carbon copy of the principal's office, complete with the same secretary, and actually the old Dottie secretary that both Principal LaRue and Drell has. I like to think that she's
Marge.
I like to think that she's a witch who just much like Mr. Poole is having trouble making ends meet, so she works in alternate dimensions. German dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Drell starts off by really meanly making fun of Caroline Ray's hair, which I thought was nice in this episode, but that's just me. In fact, when right before they go to Drell's office, Caroline Ray starts talking about how she's not interested in Drell anymore, and then she makes the joke by saying, "Oh, how's my hair?" And she does what I call the Hilda face, which is like a snarky smile, like a sarcastic smile, where it's like that, and she holds it. That's classic Hilda, and that's part and parcel of why I don't like her. Drell starts recounting all of Sabrina's uses of magic recently, including changing the laws of physics. Sabrina tries to explain that she's trying to help her friends, and Drell basically just calls her an idiot or dumb as a use of a 4-letter word. Drell yells at her aunts for not stressing how important dangers of magic are and the terrible things that can happen. And I think Zelda, like, she doesn't speak much in this episode, but she says that she did. She says "I did" in a funny way that, like, even
I did.
I did?
I did.
Oh, I did?
And there's the real one. Which one was the real one? Was it the one that sounded like me? Yes. That's right. There's no joke there. It was me. Drell then points out that the guys downstairs in ominous warnings forgot to knock up the reverb on the word terrible. And after tuning the word terrible, he zaps his secretary Marge for making the mistake. I feel like Penn Jillette, like, he was always like around because he was on Sabrina and stuff, and he was always on those, you know, magic specials because he was an illusionist or whatever. I'm shocked at how good an actor I think he is in the role of Drell. Like, he's so perfectly suited for it. Everything that he does, he seems so comfortable in it. That boastful, all-powerful, yet, like, not only arrogant, but kind of, like, undeserving. Because you look at him and he's like, who are you to be, like, the ruler of anything? I think he's great casting there.
Hello, Drell. What a pleasant surprise.
No, it's not. I summoned you, and you're here. Hilda, what's with your hair?
My new boyfriend likes it this way.
Oh, your new boyfriend. What's his name? Well, I hope you and are very happy. Sabrina, why don't we begin by you explaining to us why we're here?
I don't know.
Stop me if something sounds familiar. Athletic injury, fixed election, altered immutable laws of physics.
Oh, that. Sabrina.
You didn't.
I was just trying to help people.
Help is a 4-letter word, like dumb and move. Am I right?
Well, first all the people I helped were happy, but now only one is. And he's happy enough for all 3 of them, though. So.
Now, I should explain to you that when I say, am I right, it's a rhetorical question because I'm always right.
Drell, please. Sabrina's a good kid.
And things are hard on her. Her mother's in Peru. Her father's in a book.
And I'm in the land of I don't care.
I want to say he's probably in this episode, probably the best performance of the episode.
Yeah. It's a hard race between him and Paul Feig, though, because like Paul Feig has more range in this episode, but Drell, Penn Jillette is just killing it here.
When he was stressing, when he was saying, why didn't you guys stress the importance of, you know, not doing these things to Sabrina?
Terrible things.
Hilda basically says, well, her, be lenient with her. Her mother is in Peru. Her father is in a book, which he's not actually in a book.
Nope.
He lives in another realm. He does not live in a book. So that was a little weird.
Yeah.
But
he also should be visiting his daughter more often.
Yeah.
Like he shows up in the first episode and then doesn't show up until like the 20th episode. And then not again for like 2 more seasons.
Drell responds with, and I'm in the land of I don't care, which I think is an awesome way to say I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to point out. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Drell, baby.
I'm going to start using it.
Also,
check Google Maps because I be in the land of I don't care.
I like that, him and Hilda have a past, and he asks Hilda, so who you with? And she goes, and he goes, I hope you and are happy.
Oh, so
which
good.
was such a great line.
Every one of his lines, not only is it funny, but just perfectly delivered for the character. I also love how he's dressed in like a blindingly green jacket and like very 90s like black triangle-y vest.
I love how no one gives a shit that he just murdered Marge. Yeah. Like it's literally just completely skated over. They just go back to their conversation like nothing just happened.
I think it's accepted.
A woman has been murdered.
Yeah. Well, as they exit,
they find her teeth.
Yeah.
I think it's just accepted that Drell is like a torturous
Marge's
person.
Teeth.
Oh, these are Marge's teeth. Like it was nothing.
I should also know that this is specifically for Chris because I knew she was going to be on this episode. The set decorator was just having fun at this point. Not only is there a picture of Richard Nixon on the wall, and I figured that would be like a callback to having like the current president's photo hanging in the office of like the school originally, but it wasn't. It was still a photo of Richard Nixon, so it didn't make any goddamn sense. But the set and his desk are also decorated with those same weird leafy vines from episode 1. They're still there.
I did not notice that.
It's like everywhere Drell is, vines appear.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either. That's a sharp eye on your part there.
That's what happens when you watch an episode 9 times to prepare for a podcast. So Drell goes on to talk about how he doesn't really care about the first 2 uses of magic. You can do whatever you want to your friends, but that alchemy could collapse the world economy, wrecking his T-bills. This is just an episode with lots of references that teenagers get and love. He tells her that she has 24 hours to change Mr. Poole back, or else he'll turn her into a cat. Good to know. That's soon knocked back to 16 hours after Hilda turns him down. Don't turn down Drell. He'll kill you or turn your niece into a cat. I definitely knew which one that was. At school, Sabrina runs into a jubilantly rich Mr. Poole. As Chris noted, he loves being rich because that's all we ever want to be. She feels so bad about wiping his mind, especially when she shows him, when he shows her his shockingly old Palm Pilot.
He called it a digital personal assistant, which he sent himself a fax to.
I don't know about you. There is no fucking way I'm buying when he sent himself a fax with that thing in 1996. Like, he may have lumps of gold. There aren't enough lumps of gold to afford something that's able to send a fax and is that small in 96.
I mean, it was still pretty big. I mean, it was probably the size of like an iPad.
It looks like a Newton.
Yeah, it might have been. But yeah, I tend to agree with you. I don't think it had the wireless capabilities of current technology to do such a thing. But hey, it sounded real cool.
That's right. Sabrina, in the middle of biology class, decides to wipe Mr. Poole's memory just at the time that's best if you're actually watching this on a TV, because he starts tapping his brain. Like, I've got it up here, and he taps his brain for like an unhealthy amount of time to allow Sabrina to cast the spell, and then Mr. Poole goes full freak out after he realizes that he's lost his recipe for gold. Why? Because he never wrote it down.
Well, that's my last lump for now. I'll just make some more up tonight. Poole, you got it wired up here. No. It's gone. I lost it. I never wrote it down. Oh, this is a terrible thing. Oh.
All right, which one of you wants to start on this? Because we're all going to talk about it, but what the fuck?
Why would you never write it down? It's the key to your livelihood. It's the thing that is apparently making it worth living, because apparently otherwise your life is not worth living.
I mean,
so
there's literally no hyperbole I can use. It's a recipe for gold.
But see, it's the beauty of the character, though. Mr. Poole is that character that always, he's the one who's always going to go down. So if he's going to go down, he would be the one who forgot to write it down or forgot to put it in his digital personal assistant.
Again, the big shiny thing that he just bought that can take notes.
Exactly.
Honestly, if you have a recipe for gold, you tattoo it on your fucking ass. You don't give yourself a chance to lose it.
But see, that's the whole thing. He's that lovable loser character that you're always cheering for, and yet he just let himself down.
Also, even if he has to lose the gold, even if he is ordained to lose the gold by fate or whatever, as soon as you know that you have the recipe for gold, you stop going to work. And what you do is you buy all the lead in Greater Westbridge and turn it all into gold as quickly as possible because God knows what's going to happen.
Don't be throwing out lumps of gold in class. Hoard that shit.
Plus, why was he still teaching? I know he loves teaching.
Yeah.
But you have a recipe for gold.
And you don't really seem to love teaching because you're a dick to your students.
Also, you can afford to give them all showers. Golden showers. No, I'm kidding.
Al, I don't think you understand what that means.
He was showering them in lumps.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's Lumpy Golden Shower.
We'll talk about what that means
Lumpy
later
Golden
on.
Showers is definitely the title for this episode.
Lumps.
I also want to point out that Paul Feig looks fucking boss in that suit he's wearing. It's very 90s. It's like wide double breast, but he wears it quite well.
Did you see that Principal LaRue gave him a dirty look, was checking him out? Yeah. At first I wasn't sure if it was just a dirty look because he turned him down and won't wash his car anymore, or if it was a dirty look because his suit was so nice and he was like damn, bitches making too much money.
I think
wash my car in that suit, baby.
I think Principal LaRue says that guy's too good now to wash my car.
That's right.
Yeah.
At lunch, a very sad Sabrina is cheered up by a perky Jenny who tells her that she's made her peace with the whole presidency thing, and she announces that she's giving up the position to Libby as she'd rather be jaded than naive.
Who wouldn't? That's what Sabrina says.
And it's actually quite true. I was trying to think maybe I'd rather be naive. No, I'd rather be jaded. I am jaded, so that's why I'm on a podcast. Libby then goes into her acceptance speech and everything, and there's a nice touch here where everyone finds out that Libby's the new president, and Harvey starts clapping, but since his shoulder is still hurt, he sells his hurt shoulder and starts clapping on his thigh.
Yeah, what was that? I caught
that
too. It was that was a bad minute of acting.
No, I think it just shows that Harvey the character is an idiot. I think it's great acting.
Oh, okay.
That's what you do. I'm so dumb. Ow.
I thought it was budget acting. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be with a broken arm here. Never mind.
Whoopsie doodle. Harvey then comes up to Sabrina and makes her even happier by telling her that he's super happy about not playing football because now he gets time to read and write more, which I don't think anybody fucking buys that this guy who doesn't know how to clap is trying to read and write more. I don't believe it. Sabrina's last stop, of course, is Mr. Poole, who is fairly in full freak out mode now, just scribbling everything on the board to try and figure out his formula. Maybe do that an hour ago, you fucking dumbass.
A equals A.
A equals A. That's true. That's Phil in the math corner this week. While she tries to cheer him up by saying, not being rich is also great, he accurately points out that it's all he's ever wanted, and pretty much all anyone's ever wanted is to be rich, because freedom comes with richness.
I wanna be rich.
The best part is his briefcase craps out on him again, and after Sabrina helps him pick up the papers, she leaves him with a nice new briefcase. One of them briefcases.
Better than a beef case.
Case of beef.
Yeah, that's also a nice gift, though. Nice case of beef. Leaves him with a new briefcase outside of his classroom, but that some bitch, Principal LaRue, comes by and steals it. This is also another point I want to make. This guy had all this fucking money and didn't buy himself a new briefcase. It's the first thing you buy.
That's what I said.
When you go buy a Palm Pilot, there are probably briefcases right next to them.
He bought the car first, which made sense because his car was breaking down.
Yes.
But...
And also, that's a good point, though. Even after he's lost his formula, he's got some suits. He's got some new suits. He's got a Ferrari, which is worth a lot of money. He could sell that, buy a reasonably priced car, and have some money. He probably has some gold at home left over. Although he didn't say he gave away his last lump.
Yeah.
So,
which was idiotic.
Very dumb. But still, he's done all right comparatively.
And yet again, when he's in the classroom with Sabrina, he says, "Why couldn't someone just destroy me?"
Which gets a laugh, which didn't feel like a joke that should get a laugh.
No, but this is Mr. Poole. He is always this defeatist, woe is me character, yet he is at the same time incredibly snarky and rude and just a dick often. He's often a dick.
I like the character. Reminds me of me.
I didn't feel bad for him personally at all. Because he was a dick while he was rich.
Know what? Ever since I was a kid and I watched this episode, the one time I actually felt bad for him was when Principal LaRue takes his briefcase.
Yeah, I get that too.
I kind of thought about it when I was watching this episode, and I'm like, with all that gold, why didn't he just buy a new briefcase?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we just finished talking about it, but like, I mean, you didn't stop the thing and go, hey, I can go get like a Boss briefcase right now.
It's like honestly, when you go buy suits, they're probably right there. When you go buy Palm Pilots, they're definitely right there. When you go buy a Ferrari, it should come with one.
For a science teacher, he is very bad with planning and figuring things out, because he should have made a list of like the things that he needed to get and figured out how much gold he needed. But no, he just fucking winged everything and was a cocky little son of a bitch. And this is what happened. So it's just fate smacking him in the face for being a little bitch.
But that's, again, it goes back to what I was saying before about, Mr. Poole being that lovable loser. Because here comes Principal LaRue and takes his briefcase. And like Al said, you kind of feel sorry for him because, here he had a momentary, like, glorious time. And he couldn't even do the most simplest of things.
Yeah.
Like, write it down.
And if he's brought right back to Earth at the end of the episode where Mr. Poole basically starts groveling for his job back, washing Principal LaRue's car, even undercutting a student's price to get that job back. He also compliments Principal LaRue on his lovely new briefcase.
I almost feel like it's a happy ending in that because he was such a dick,
he's learned the error of his ways.
It's sort of like a fable where, like, don't count your chickens before they've hatched, or like this is the moral of the story is don't be a fucking dick or an idiot with your money and plan wisely.
Just like all those fables from the Bible. Listen, you dick.
Don't be a dick.
As Jesus said to Michael
and the apostles.
Don't be a dick.
I do like how Principal LaRue goes. Mr. Poole, aka Mr. Rockefeller.
Yes,
he did call him Mr. Rockefeller.
I do like Tom McGowan, who plays Mr. Principal LaRue, and I think he has a fun performance here. I think overall, there are a couple of solid performances. I think Melissa Joan Hart at times is really good. Penn Jillette knocks it out of the park as often he does. Tom McGowan is fun. Salem, Nick Bouquet, interesting for what he's there for. Good performance there. But again, like I said, for a show where so much is happening, I mean, this is like, it just chugs along and really, you never get really drawn into the story. And there's some fun scenes with Paul Feig, but it's not enough to keep one's attention. And you kind of want more to be going on with the aunts or something, just so that you have something else to focus on. But it's never there. So there are some funny jokes. The story flows well, but if I had to rate it, and I do, on my TGIF scale, I give this one a teen angel. That'd be a 2 out of 5 for those keeping track at home. Chris?
I would agree.
Phil?
Teen angel is pretty much where it should be.
Okay. Anything else to add before we go to the back of the linen closet?
I forgot what I was going to say.
Then we go to the back of the linen closet.
No, I think I was going to say that overall, I kind of didn't like Sabrina in this episode because from the very beginning, I feel like there was this idea that, I'm going to help people. But the whole intent behind it seemed very...
self-serving?
Yeah, exactly. It seemed very self-serving. It seemed like she was doing it to just prove a point to Salem. And she really didn't care. She took sort of the easy route. And it was whatever appeared to her. She sort of was just like, I can do that. Boom. But she didn't really seem to...
She didn't really do that.
Give a shit.
Right. Well, she did feel bad about the effects of her.
Well, I think she felt bad. I don't think she felt bad for Jenny. I think she felt bad for Harvey because she had the hots for him and she basically caused him physical injury and felt guilty. And I think she genuinely felt bad for Mr. Poole because he seemed so much happier.
I mean, not to lengthen a long episode, but I think the reason she doesn't feel particularly bad for Jenny is because, like, what happens to Jenny really wasn't caused by Sabrina. She just gave Jenny literally what she wanted, which was the power of the presidency. Jenny came to her own realization that power wasn't what she thought it was.
Yeah, but she also has a weird relationship with Jenny.
She does. Going to the back of the linen closet award, we find a lot of outfits that deserve mention. We talked about Sabrina's like gray ensemble. I didn't touch on it, but in the scene where Hilda's eating all the pizza, she's also wearing like a mint green outfit, like mint green top, mint green pants. Not very good. But I think the standout here in this episode is Jenny. Because not only does she wear that putrid outfit me and Phil were talking about earlier, she also, at one point, when she's talking to Sabrina about going to meet with Principal LaRue, she wears like this gross green top over like grosser green and beige plaid pants. I'm going to say, because I think it'll be the consensus choice, that I'm going to put Jenny's grayish, taupey skirt vest combination with brown shirt into the back of the linen closet. Phil, do you agree?
Is that her campaigning ensemble?
That's the first one we see her in.
Yeah, that would be, as like you said, I think Jenny's whole wardrobe needs to go in the back of the linen closet. Mm-hmm. But the number one is going to be the campaigning one, because that thing was just hideous.
I mean, I can't imagine anyone ever putting that fucking outfit on and going, I look like this shit.
I mean, I would literally take it and just burn it. Just go take it out and just burn it in the middle of the field.
Chris?
Got a bit of a wild card one here.
All right.
Don't know if you guys noticed Marge's outfit.
I mean, but she's an old lady. Like,
she's an old lady, but this is like legit cliche librarian. Like, she had a shirt with a lace bib on it.
But see, I try not to.
A lace bib on
I get where you're coming from, but the thing is, that's more a costume than an outfit.
But they're all costumes, as you once pointed out to me.
Listen.
It makes you feel good. Drell blew her up, so.
That's true.
Well, I didn't hate her.
Well, her outfit got
her outfit too. Was not great.
You're putting Marge
and then she had like a long like
dress,
matronly skirt on. It just, I feel like nothing else in the episode really stuck out to me where I was like, that was an awful. I mean, there were outfits that stuck out for like just their 90s-ness or just their, weird comment, like the gray on gray. And then Hilda had like a very, like she's wearing a suit vest, but it was like a very girly suit vest with the matching skirt over like a white top.
Yeah.
Just the pieces themselves stood out to me, but there wasn't any specific outfit that I was like, this is fucking atrocious.
Right.
So Marge is my choice.
Marge is a fair choice.
But I think did she have different outfits on? I feel like maybe she had different outfits on.
Marge, I think she had the same one both times. That, I believe, will do it for this episode of Sabrina's Witch Trials. I'm going to remind you guys that you can listen to us on TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Store, iTunes, your favorite podcatcher of choice. You can head over to Sabrina'sWitchTrials.com and listen to us there. If you want to download the link, you can get it there. You can also follow Sabrina's Witch Trials on Twitter at Sabrina Podcast, on Facebook, Facebook.com/Sabrina's Witch Trials, SoundCloud.com/Sabrina's Witch Trials. And you can follow me at the Alex Araujo on Twitter. I don't know what Facebook is, but don't follow me there because it's all creepy. Instagram, don't follow me there, but it's also the Alex Araujo. You can follow Chris and all what she writes and talks about on Twitter at Chris Conkers, on Instagram at Chris Conkers, and at chrisconkers.com. Phil, you have anything you want to plug?
Not really, but I'd like to thank you for inviting me to come, and hopefully we can do this again.
Thank you, and we might be doing this again sooner than you think.
Uh-oh.
Wink. Not with Chris, motherfucker. I'm kidding. Thank you, Chris, for being on this episode also. Next episode is actually the Halloween episode. I think it's called The Halloween Story, but I don't really remember. I know one of them is. It's a fun one, but that one's actually, that's going to be fun, and we'll see who I talk to about Halloween fun with Sabrina and Doubles. Until then, we will see you in the other realm.
Hey, how'd it go?
I'm on my second picture of root beer.
Why? What's wrong?
I wish I'd never become president.
You said that's what you wanted, though.
I was so young, so naive, I thought I could make a difference.
But you can.
No. You keep your illusions, but it's too late for me. I've seen how the meatloaf is made.
Oh, Jenny, I'm sorry.
It's a terrible thing.